So our first speaker for tonight is Maricris. And Maricris is the principal in Manila, and she works with children with hearing loss. Many of those have cochlear implants. So it's very interesting in looking at the challenges that young people with cochlear implants face in the school setting and how we can meet those challenges. So please join me in welcoming Maricris.
Hello, good day, everybody. As I open my first slide, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and to inspire everybody as on the part of as an educator here in the Philippines. So first, let me share to everyone the challenges we encountered when we're handling the students. So out of 62 students here in our school, we have around 8 students who are cochlear implant. Next slide, sir. So from nursery down to the senior grade 10 students, that's the last one. Most of these 8 students, okay, as I would like to share to you, the biggest challenges I'm facing right now is after these 2 years of pandemic, when they get back to the face-to-face setup, most of them tends to become more detached and become more loner. So we need to, innovate a lot of efforts, especially when it comes to their educational program. So let me start with the challenges. So first, challenges if the parents and teachers have no complete knowledge about the cochlear implant. That's the biggest battle for everybody here in the Philippines. Well, what curriculum we're going to prepare for them, the lessons that they need, and also how to monitor, especially the speech progress of each student. So what do we do here? Of course, the first thing that we do is we believe that we need to tackle first the strong family and home school partnership, wherein we need to zero in on the needs of the child and also on how we are going to guide the parents as well. Second challenges is if the child has other learning challenges other than hearing impairment, like for example, multiple handicap like with ASD, with GDD, etc. So this one, we're gonna need to do this long-term and short-term when it comes to their educational program. So together with the school clinician, we administer a psychological test to determine areas of difficulties and invite the parents to this what we call the Iep planning. So it's a team meeting wherein we target goals for the school year, like if one needs more frequent or one-on-one speech therapy session, or if one needs occupational or physical therapy or remedial lessons when it comes to their academic program. So that's the biggest challenges here. Aside from on how we will guide the parents and the students, if the students have also this other learning difficulties that we need to, include in their IEP as well. The third challenges as an educator here is if the child shows special interest and giftedness like sports, dance, technology, more in culinary or in theater. So what we did is every month, okay, we make an activities wherein we can cater and feature their talents, or we create activities and school events to develop their skills, to feature their interests, like if somebody would like to join the dance troupe, would like to join the choir group. But of course, ideally, it looks and sounds like easy, but it's a difficult task for us an educator. But then if you have the heart of being a compassionate teacher, then your heart will really lead you on how you're going to guide these kids, especially on the talents that they would like to grow in. Fourth challenges is, I think this is the last one, if the child shows emotional or behavioral disturbances, which is that's one thing I would like to share to everybody that is very challenging on my part this school year once we have this kind of face-to-face, wherein the students tend to become aloof to other people, tend to become a loner, always exclude themselves in school activities. So it really needs a lot of effort to get into this kind of a situation. So again, together with the school psychologists and parents here in our school, we do the data gathering. What triggers their emotions. So we need to do also counseling with the parents as well, and also to the relatives and other persons involved with this child. And also as an educator, we need to know their interests. And most importantly, this is what I'm practicing right now, is to be a good listener to them by not imposing, you're gonna do this one, you need to do this one, but then letting them, okay, letting them to voice out how they feel, to voice out what they want to do, and to, to make them feel that they're not alone on this kind of journey that they have. And that's why, on the next slide, sir, thank you, Sir Kes. Last one. Okay, the last one is if the child is indigent or comes from a family in poverty, it's very, very difficult here in the Philippines after the operation is the support from the medical team. After the operation, they should have at least, family orientation. What are they going to do? If they're going to if they're going to need to calibrate their CI, they need to do also to guide the educator as well, when to do the mapping and how to, when it comes to the maintenance as well. Here in the Philippines, that is very pricey, the cochlear implant. Not only the gadget itself, but also the maintenance on how to, the batteries, if you're going to change it. For example, here, if they're going to attend their class for about 3 hours or in a day, they need to prepare at least 6 batteries. So that's the biggest challenge, not only for us, an educator, but also for the family who are with a child with a cochlear implant. And also, of course, how to, maintain this speech therapy when it's not only for the academic as well, but also they have, in our school, we have this kind of speech therapy one-on-one. But for academic, it's also included in their class as well, for us to, polish more and help the students to, improve more their speech. On our part, in our school, we're trying to look for the sponsors who can, be their sponsor when it comes to their speech therapy, or would like to do donations for their batteries, for their maintenance as well. Despite of these challenges here in the Philippines, handling these students with cochlear implant and also hard of hearing students, it inspires me to be a great teacher. Of course, to share with everybody, at first, I did not know I was headed in the teaching profession. But because I was raised by a visionary parents, taught me to be a good student and a professional worker, aligned with God's purpose in my life. So I was drawn to PI this vision to empower children with special needs, make the deaf talk, and position them in mainstream society. And I am now driven to help them despite of these challenges we're facing. I am now driven to help them find their voice and find their way to their dreams. For about 8 years in our school, I'm one of the organizer in this what we call the SEMFI choir group. So on my last slide, we have here our students presenting on different government offices, inspiring, sharing to them the vision, the challenges, despite of all this, showing to everybody that this is not a disability. It is something that we need to embrace and accept, to to these kids, because these kids are really precious to us, as long as you will be guiding them with the support of the teachers, the family, especially the family. So on the last slide, my quote there, let their voices be heard. That's
Thank
it.
you very much for that really inspiring talk. And you raised two key issues there, I think, if you could very quickly answer. The first is, how much does the cochlear implant enable children in the Philippines to go into mainstream schools? And
Yeah.
also you raised the crucial issue of ongoing support. And is it only through getting children sponsored if parents haven't got the money, or are there other ways that children can get that support?
Okay, how much it costs here? Around I think it's around 2 million for both years. Yes, and if they're going to enroll in this kind of inclusion school, it costs around 120,000 for their tuition fee, 60,000 for the academic. That's a regular curriculum as well. They are not being categorized in a SPED, but it's an inclusion setup. And for the speech, it's around 50,000. But then out of those 8 students we have as a cochlear implant user, 4 of them are scholars. So how did they do that? So they make this kind of campaign and also looking for the sponsor. But the problem there, that's it. After the operation, without, of course, the support system and also the medical as well, because the sponsorship caters only the operation, but beyond that, no support at all. So what we need we need to help these students and also the parents on how we're gonna look for, to sustain the maintenance for their cochlear implant.
Okay, thank you very much.